Them boppers holler, boy, you ain't grown. Oh, so turned off my phone. Time to get in that zone. Got shit to say, got skills to hone. A compilation of confessions before a nigga gone. Still rolling stone. Where I light my blunt is my home. And when I die, just know I'm chilling in the sky. Meet me at the crossroads, like boom, boom, boom. I'll make sure you're never lonely, at least not alone. Maybe that's a little too deep right now. 937 with the windows up and lights down. Zooted as we ride round, nothing on my mind now. Success in my sights now. Girls that used to play me, said he claim me. I'm they type now. I know it's lies now, but who am I not to regular Chevy in and out? Plus being black in America's like a living trial. Analyze for every different trial and tribulation and step mistaken. Like how dare you try to reach for greatness? How dare you overcome some hatred? How dare you ever try to make it? How dare you not be faced by fakeness? How fucking dare you see your chance and take it? Well, I took it, and by the way it's looking, there's nowhere to go but up, nowhere to move but forward. Putting goddamn numbers on the board. Say my motherfucking name if you don't motherfucking know it, ho, it's Saint. La da da, la da da, Saint. La da da,
yeah.
La da da, Saint. La da da,
No money.
Saint. La da da,
Ain't got no friends.
Saint.
But y'all thought that's what that was. But actually, this is
Saint. La da da.
by my man Damon Say Cloud. It's called Saint, the Anthem. Welcome to another session of Val's Monologues. I'm your host, Val Holdens. Shout out to my man Damon Say Cloud. You can find him on SoundCloud. And we are at it again. Another session. For those of you who are listening for the first time, it's very, very simple to find us. And you can go to Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker with the R. SPREAKER.com / The Answer Game Podcast. Once you put that in the search engine, you will find the Answer Game Podcast channel, where Val's Monologue is a subsidiary. And all you do is click on that link, and it will take you to a session where you can listen to this one, along with other sessions that I have recorded for myself. Just chewing the fat. Just thinking out loudly, pretty much. And we're going to do that tonight in regards to this R. Kelly situation. We're going to ask ourselves a question, okay? How young is too young? And I'm saying this I'm asking this from the male perspective. If you're listening, if you're a female listening to this, ask yourself that same question, because we really have to examine what's going on right now with microscopic lens, and a lot of questions are being asked. Okay, why is this happening to R. Kelly? And hopefully we can answer a couple of those this evening. Before we do, I want to send a shout out to the Great Atlanta Auto Services, of which there's a section in the Answer Game Podcast channel where you get a tip or two from Great Atlanta Auto Services for your auto services needs. If you're looking for a car, holler at us. Okay, right now we got a 2016 Kia Soul Black, clean, available. Just 32,000 miles on it, going for the low right now. You definitely want to see this car. It's very clean, very reliable, very versatile. And trust me, I've moved a lot of these, and they're very, very reliable cars. Get in contact with us. 404-480-2833. Again, the number is 404-480-2833. Okay, also wanted to send a shout out to some of the sponsors of the Answer Game Podcast channel conglomerate. Number one being ComputerLove.com. That's computer with a K. Love.com. Right by my man, Mr. Jason Dawkins. For those of you who are looking to get a quality refurbished computer, you can holler at Jason. You can also holler at me for that. I'm also associated with ComputerLove.com. For your computer repair needs, holler at him. The man knows what he's doing. All you do is just go to ComputerLove.com, computer with K, love.com. Any computer issues, holler at him. He'll take care of it for you. Okay. Also, want to send a shout out to the 321 Stop the Bullying, anti-bullying program ran by my man, Mr. Osborne Dennis. That's 321 Stop the Bullying. They are going to have the third annual anti-bullying march going on July the 13th, Saturday, July the 13th, at the AMF Bowling Alley, outside the AMF Bowling Alley in Conyers, Georgia. Okay? Very, very easy to get to. They're going to be, of course, participating in that march, having a march, organizing a march. Also going to have free food, free drinks, a dance contest, and a rap contest. Face painting, the whole nine. Also going to be giving away book bags for the new school year. We're going to have a voter registration drive. So for those of you business owners who have a product that you're selling, has a businesses that you're running, and you want a booth at this event, because trust me, it's going to be well worth your time. A lot of people are going to be at this event. Get in contact with Mr. Osborne Dennis and the 321 Stop the Bullying Anti-Bullying Program staff. Again, it's 321 Stop the Bullying Anti-Bullying Program. Just put that in the Facebook search engine. If you're not on Facebook, just Google that. Okay? All right. How young is too young? If you grew up in the 90s, you are very familiar with R. Kelly's music. Of course, his music is 2019, and his music has withstood the test of time because the man is definitely a musical genius. Music for all different occasions. If you're looking to get them, if your loved one are looking to get in the mood, just put in that 12-play album. If you're at a graduation, you might hear that "I Believe I Can Fly" song. He got with Kirk Franklin, made some tracks or whatever for the gospel crowd. All types of genres. R. Kelly has made successful music, and it's amazing because from my understanding, the man has trouble reading. He can't read. He can't read or write. So he's a prime example of using his God-given abilities to the fullest and becoming very, very successful despite the odds being against him, heavily against him. Okay? Well, with great power, comes great responsibility. And like I said, if you grew up in the 90s, you knew about, of course you know about his music. But you also knew that he had a thing for dating so-called underage girls. When I say underage, meaning that illegal. He was illegally dating girls. And that's determined by the age. If you're in the state of Georgia, the legal age for a man or woman is 17. Some states is 16. Most states is 18. But that's subjective, of course. And definitely R. Kelly thought this way about that. Being that it was a known fact that he had a lot of dealings with that. And of course, he went to trial for that in the late 90s, early 2000 time period, and was acquitted of a case or two. The most famous one being him peeing on that, him having a video of him peeing on a young lady. And the young lady, and he was got off, he was acquitted because the young lady denied that was herself on the video. For whatever reason. I'm not here to argue for or against it, but word on the street was that he broke a lot of young ladies' hearts. A lot of these young ladies had psychological issues in dealing with them, and I asked myself why. Why is he being persecuted right now so heavily? Because if you watch the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, and by the way, I haven't watched not 1 minute of it. A lot of those, it was some other cases, new cases of some of his underage dealings being brought on by some of the parents of these young underage girls. And, you know, you can call it messed up because a lot of these parents happily gave their daughters away at the time to R. Kelly for him to deal with him. And they were, and it's my opinion, that they were expecting him to successfully groom them in the entertainment industry at the cost of them, you know, having, you know, relationships, you know, with, which of course include sexual relationships with R. Kelly. Now, this is nothing new. This is nothing new with entertainers, not just entertainers, all people from all walks of life, men of all walks, men and women of all walks of life. There are numerous cases of men, specifically men, having, you know, relationships with women that started out with these women were pretty much girls, were illegally underage, right? Specifically in the entertainment industry, of course, and I'm seeing a lot of social media videos of Elvis Pressley, the famous interview with Barbara Walters and Priscilla Presley, with Priscilla Presley admitting to having dealings with Elvis Presley when she was just 14. And nothing, you know, nothing has happened to Elvis Presley's legacy. Then you have to ask yourself why. But not just Elvis, you know, of course, you know, you got people like Hugh Hefner, who had the famous Playboy Mansion, where the Playboy bunnies that lived with him, most of them, if not all of them, started out underage. Or, you know, if not underage, they were in their teens. Most definitely. I would say 99% of them started there in their teens. Okay, and he was never prosecuted. He was never tried, you know, criminally tried for this. And people are asking why. I was reading today, now outside of the country, you know, you have those type of dealings. I'm reading up on the current ruler of the Zulu tribe in South Africa. His name is Goodwill. I want to make sure I'm getting his name pronouncement right. Goodwill Zwelithini. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. But Google that. The current tribal leader of the Zulu tribe in South Africa. The man has been in rulership since 1968. He's currently in his 60s, of course, and he has 7 wives. Now, here's the thing. All of his wives are monetarily well off, okay? All his kids from those wives are successful. They were all raised in good schools. And most of them, you know, you read up on them, you'll find out that, you have some entrepreneurs, or some of his kids are entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, engineers, and all that good stuff, because they were his child. Now, his youngest wife, he married when she was 17, of course, and I think he was in his 50s or whatever. Is he looked down upon? No. Now, the commonality between him and people like Elvis and Priscilla, Elvis left Priscilla well off. She never had to worry about monetarily. She never had to worry about money. And also, he introduced her to a lot of the big wigs in the Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, Of course, I grew up in the 80s. Now, I used to see her on episodes of Dallas. She was also in The Naked Gun, that type of thing. She had some acting appearances. And of course, the daughter they had, she's in a prime position. Elvis left them well off. Right? The same thing for Hugh Hefner, okay? And I'm going to Google this right now with his playmates, a lot of the former playmates. Hold on one second. Famous Playboy playmates. Hold on one second. Of course, we know about Shannon Tweed. You know about Pamela Anderson. You know about Jenny McCarthy. Okay. I forget that black chick that was on Baywatch too. I used to love that chick during the 90s. She started as a Playboy playmate. The list goes on and on. And what happened, of course, they when they were in their teens, early 20s or whatever, they were part of the Playboy conglomerate, where of course they posed in this magazine, did other things for him. But when they after they spent enough time with him, if they didn't stay with Hugh Hefner, they branched out on their own, did their own thing, and were relatively successful. But the ones who were paying attention, and I'm pretty sure he had a big hand in teaching these young ladies that type of thing. Were there any charges brought up against him? Criminal charges brought up against him? Now, I'm not sure. Well, if you Google that, you won't find anything. Now, that could be, because he was a good guy. Could be because his CIA dealings. He was an agent, that type of thing. And when I say agent, meaning that, he was a guy that when famous people came to the LA area, he would supply them with entertainment. He was a guy. He was a plug for that. So he had backing by some powerful people. But he was a powerful man himself. See, that's what this is about, is being locked in with the right people. Now, in R. Kelly's case, from my understanding, the only person that became successful out of his tutelage was Aaliyah, which is why he was allowed to legally marry her at the age of 14, meaning that she had to get her parental consent. She had to get his consent from her parents, which they did. And being under him, started out being under him. Of course, she branched off a couple years later, or whatever. But it was because of dealings with him that she was successfully introduced into the music business. Now, I can't think of nobody else that dealt with R. Kelly that became successful from dealing with him. And that might be his downfall. Because a lot of the parents, that is what they expected him to do. And I think he was selfish with his dealings, just using these women just for his personal pleasures or whatever, and running that game on, that type of thing. And like I said, that's his mistake. He hasn't made enough of these women successful. Like I said, no matter what you think about him, this type of stuff, goes on. I mean, and me personally, at the time, in my teens, during the 90s, when I heard about this stuff, I thought, thought that was messed up or whatever. But as time goes along and I live, I see and I understand that naturally God made us a certain way. For women, their prime years are during their late teens, early 20s. For men, their prime years are, it can be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, to the point that when a man is in his 70s, he still can impregnate a woman. Do you ask yourself why? It's because, for me, I just go back, to the scriptures or whatever. God made man and woman to be abundant. I mean, it's just plain and simple, to walk this earth and be abundant. And for a woman, their greatest treasure usually is the kids. A man's greatest treasure, is legacy. There's a legacy that he leaves behind for his family, his kids, that type of thing or whatever. And that's just the way it is. And it's funny, like I said, my type of thinking has changed over the years. And that's caused me, when I was thinking and messed up about the situation, it caused me to miss some opportunities. I'll never forget when I was in my late 20s or whatever, and I went to the Greek picnic. I was in the best shape of my life at the time. I was, I had lost a lot of weight. I found out about things about being healthy. And on top of that, I was knowledgeable. I was more knowledgeable, more wise than I was in my early 20s. But I was, at that Greek picnic that year, the ladies were looking at me, the young ladies in particular, the college ladies. And I was thinking to myself, man, they're too young for me. I'll never get this because I ended up not messing with anybody at that. I never not talked to anybody at that picnic. But I received a picture of myself. Somebody, took a picture of myself, and a young lady at the time I knew forwarded me that picture that one of her friends had taken of me. And the young lady at the time, she was in her early 20s, that type of thing. And now that I'm in my 40s, I want to slap that 29-year-old in the face. Because this is natural, man. It's nothing wrong with that. It's in my eyes. I remember this story. Prime example, okay? I got a couple examples, but prime example. I met this. I'll never forget this. It was last year, a couple years ago. I was at the library, and there's a cop there. Old redneck cop. You can tell he's a little redneck. He was definitely redneck when I finally talked to him. He'll come, read the paper. Of course, I guess he was, there to prevent trouble or whatever. Of course, the library was in the hood, that type of thing. And just one day, I was seeing him around. Just one day, I sat down there and talked to him. We just started a conversation, and of course, when I talk to people, I usually talk about what most people like to talk about, and that's themselves. And of course, he was talking about, himself, some of his dealings, of course. And he got to the point where he pulled out his wallet, and he would show me pictures of his some of the past relationships that he had, female relationships that he had. And these pictures, by the way, these were some beautiful women. I mean, he's flipping it, through the pictures, whatever, and these women were beautiful. He was telling me about this one chick when he was 20. He showed me the picture of this one chick who he dealt with when he was in the CIA, that type of thing. And he showed me his current girlfriend, who's in his 50s, and like I said, he's in his 30s, so it's a 30-year gap. But of course, people don't, society doesn't look down on that because that's acceptable. But he did show me a young lady he dealt with when he was in his 40s, and specifically he was 47, and the young lady was gorgeous. And he, I asked her, asked him her age, and he sort of looked at me sort of slyly, and he was like, well, she was 18 at the time, and he was expecting me to look at him funny. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, that type of thing. because he was the type that he took advantage of the opportunities. And although society may have looked down upon him, at the time, of course, he didn't care. It's just, and it's in a man's nature to want to have, the best of things. And if that includes, in your 40s, you want to have the best women. If a man is honest with you, by the way, if a man is honest, he wants to have the prettiest lady in the room. And most times than not, the young lady is going to be in their 20s. Now, of course, there's some exceptions to the rule or whatever. I'm in Atlanta area, so I see some gorgeous ladies of all ages, even, some in their 50s, that type of thing. But but naturally, for a man, there's nothing wrong with it. I remember another example. I just had this conversation with a guy a few months back. One guy I was doing some business with who was from the Florida area, South Florida area. Been up here for a long time. And he owned some property in the Florida area that was passed down to him by his grandfather. Now, his grandfather had 10 kids and a lot of grandkids, of course, or whatever, and he left everybody something, meaning everybody had some land. All his family, grandkids. When he passed away, of course, his wife was well off. And that's I'm gonna get to that. But his kids and grandkids, all of them, he left land to. Now his wife, they were married. From my understanding, they were married till the day that they both died. Right? Of course, the grandfather passed away first. In this society, that's what usually happens. I say usually with quotation marks. Take care of yourself. A man or woman can live as long as they need to. I believe that. But in this case, he died first. Now I asked the guy how old was his grandparents when they met, and he sort of looked at me funny, and then he said he proceeds to tell me that his grandfather was 33 and his grandmother was 13, and she was given away with open arms by her parents, right? And had her first kid. She had her first kid when she was 14, that type of thing, and bore all this, 10 kids. Now, I didn't mention the part where I did mention that his grandfather was successful. I didn't mention that his grandfather was known for those parts for being very, very tough. Like he has a testimony. He grew up, of course, his prime years were, during the 20s and 30s. And, of course, this is South Florida. This is the South, the deep South, where you had a lot of the Ku Klux Klan activities. The black man in the South was not, had his disadvantages. And from my understanding, he was the main leader of him and some black folks fighting off the Ku Klux Klan successfully. And of course, they successfully did it because he kept his land. That was the thing back in the day. Of course, nowadays, it's a little bit more complicated. For that to happen, it's a little bit more complicated. But he fought off, he successfully, and back in that time, he fought off the Ku Klux Klan. Like it was some fear, when his name was mentioned. He was very, very well established. And my guy mentioned, was not shy in mentioning that the grandmother had a lot to do with that. That stability was very, very key. I'm running a little bit over time here. I wanted to make this 30 minutes for running a little bit over time, but I want to make this point. What do you still look down on his grandfather? A very successful man, entrepreneur that left a legacy for his family that still, even though the man's been passed away for a good many years now, his grandkids' kids are still benefiting from his efforts at the time. You know, you look down on Elvis Presley for dealing with Priscilla Presley when she was just 14 and Elvis was 24. You look down on the current leader of the Zulu tribe, who has 7 wives. Me personally, I don't. You know, and if you're in you know what, if you're a female in your 30s, you're listening to this, you still can be successful too. There's a role for you too. It's just, my point is that if you're gonna, if you're gonna deal with somebody, men, if you're gonna deal with somebody, have the mindset to give. You know, that's my mindset anyway. But just be in a mindset of giving. You know, and I can go on and on. You know, but these are just my thoughts. I'm thinking out a little bit out loud here. And anyway, you take it for what it's worth. That ends another session of Val's Monologues. If you want to listen to this, go to Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker with the R, SPREAKER.com. Look out for sessions of the Ask Game podcast. We got some places locked down to have these sessions, these live sessions, these discussions, these type of discussions, where it's fun. It's nothing but fun, because these are type of discussions that need to be talked about. And the Ask Game podcast provides that platform for that to happen. All right. That is it.